Yeah, that's going to work. Oh, hi, Martin. Just Martin. Having some breakfast, getting ready for the day, and I didn't want to interrupt the family at home, which is funny because this is about interruption. About 4:30 in the morning, I'm listening to the radio, had to get up early to take care of some tasks, and suddenly a very loud noise comes out. It's one of those emergency alerts that they test. It's the end of the month, and they test it near the end of the month to let you know that they're ready to interrupt you whenever they have to. If you think about it, you get a lot of interruptions in your life. One study indicated that the average person gets interrupted every 8 minutes, which means that this 10 minutes with God might not get done before an interruption comes, but that's the way it works. And that's an interesting point. How do you handle interruptions? How do you handle when someone throws something in your lap and says, "This is yours, you have to do it"? Or when someone takes something away from you that you needed or wanted, or there's no more of something you want, or somebody decides to just dump on you for any reason. And then one question comes up. What will you do about that? How will you respond? The Bible talks about several times people are interrupted. Joseph, for example, finds himself being interrupted in a very weird way. His brothers decide to kill him, but instead they decide to enslave him. And later he gets interrupted when, even though he's in a favored position, a false rape charge is put on him and he is in prison with a death sentence over his head. Sounds pretty modern, doesn't it? And you'd think that that's the end, but it's not. God uses that interruption in order to put him in the second highest place in the kingdom in order to gather food and save lives. That interruption saved his family, saved thousands of people, and saved all of Israel, and for that matter, all of history. Of course, sometimes people are afraid of how you react. After his father, Jacob, dies, you hear this from Genesis 50. When Joseph's brothers saw that their father was dead, they said, "It may be that Joseph will hate us and pay us back for all the evil that we did to him." So they sent a message to Joseph saying, "Your father gave this command before he died. Say to Joseph, please forgive the transgression of your brothers and their sin, because they did evil to you. And now please forgive the transgression of the servants of the God of your father." Joseph wept when he spoke to them. His brothers also came and fell down before him and said, "Behold, we are your servants." But Joseph said to them, "Do not fear, for am I in the place of God? As for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to bring about it that many people would be kept alive, as they are today. So do not fear. I will provide for you and your little ones." Thus he comforted them and spoke kindly to them. We live in a world where hate is responded to by hate, where fear is the main course of the day, and where people believe that they have an inherent right to destroy other people. And as you just saw, Joseph had a different idea, a godly idea. He said, "You know what? You meant evil for me." He does not gloss the evil that they did. No. But he says, God used it for good. And over and over and over again in the scriptures, from Genesis to Revelation, you see this repeated. The people of God show themselves as the people of God by forgiving, by loving, by caring for the very people that hurt them. I need to ask you and myself a very sensitive question. How serious are you about your faith? Are you serious enough about your faith to give up hate, to give up revenge, to give up evil, and to do what Joseph did, to do good to those who are evil? Years later, Jesus would say, you will love your neighbor as yourself. And of course, he even tells people to pray for their enemies. And I can imagine them looking at Jesus saying, you've got to be kidding. I want to tear their throats out. And you want me to love them? And Jesus says, yes, you are to love your enemies. Anybody can love their friends. Anybody can love people they're going to get something from. Your job is to love your enemies. Now, I don't know about you, but I have to make a confession here. That ain't easy. Martin T. is not the kind of person who can forgive without help. And that is why each and every day we have to pray to God and say, Father, please help us. Please give us the power of your Spirit so that we can forgive, so that we can love, even when it hurts. A friend of mine reminded me of Corrie ten Boom, the lady who had suffered in the prison camps with her sister and family members. She was the only member of her family who survived. And at one point, after losing her sister, she went about helping some of the other prisoners who were in the infirmary. And one of the women was shocked and said, why are you doing this? This is a place where people hate each other. And she was able to explain to this woman that because of the love of God in Jesus Christ, she was not going to hate, she was going to love. Frightens people sometimes because they figure everybody else is hating, I can hate. Everybody else is going for the revenge, I can go for revenge. Everybody else can do this or that or the other thing. But God says, no. I want you to be different. The scriptures again and again remind us that we're supposed to be different. We're supposed to do it God's way. Look at Joseph. Go back to Genesis 50 and reread how he shows love instead of hate as he concludes his life and concludes the book of Genesis. I think you'll appreciate it. Thank you very much for listening for this message. I'm grateful to all of you who have given me encouragement, all of you who have been listening and have been blessed by this message. There are some people who want, and you might be one of them, more information on this, and we have a resource for that. It's www.stpaulutheranla.com or .org. Both will work. And we have several resources. We have our Facebook page, Instagram page, links to the YouTube videos, including this one. And yeah, we do have a donate button. We don't twist any arms, but we don't refuse you the chance to take your faith and actually make it work. If you think this message and other messages like this are important, if you want to join us in our ministry, please do. We would appreciate it. If you want to come over to 3901 West Adams Boulevard in Los Angeles, California, that's our church. Our worship service is at 11 o'clock on Sunday morning, and you are welcome. Some people prefer just writing a check and bringing it in rather than use the electronic. We're not going to judge. Hey, sometimes these computers can do crazy things. My name is Martin, just Martin. This has been 10 Minutes with God, and it's amazing. I haven't been interrupted. Take care.